Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And this is another Ed the Pagan social media class, the second one we're doing. If you haven't seen my last one, go up on YouTube or on witchschool.com and you can see my first piece. Today we're going to cover the fact, last week we talked about why it was important to have a social media presence as a pagan. This week we're going to talk about how to get it to be more valuable to you, how to get it more useful to you, how to get quality there. And first and foremost, no matter what system you're using, whatever platform you're using, and the term platform we're using is the tool that you're using. It used to be that platform was a big word for operating statements and browsers and all that, but it's now evolved. Facebook is a platform, Google is a platform, Twitter is a platform, and this is where people build things on to do things, apps, which are computer, mobile devices, programs off of, ways of using different things, and those things are called platforms. Witch School is a platform. Witchschool.com is a platform because it has a lot of different aspects to it, and it's more than just one website. At the end of the day, you have to remember to love your message more than your platform. Platforms come and go, but your message remains eternal. So that's the first key thing that I'm going to tell you. Love your message. And that was something I brought that week. The second thing is that if you're using someone else's platform, that's okay. That's cool. But at the end of the day, you need to collect your own data. Meaning, at some level, you have to know that your material is your material. And more importantly, the people who are coming to see you eventually make a connection with you that can go beyond where they come from. In the case of Witch School, we own the website, and you can become a member of that website. And therefore, we have now brought you into our system so we can talk to you. And no matter what happens on the outside world, because we've been through a lot of platforms. We've been through LiveJournal, we've been through ThemeStream, we've been through MySpace, now we're into Facebook, Twitter, and we're moving on to Google+. But at the core, plus we use a lot of Ning. Ning is our substantial front page. But at the core, our school is a place we're still capturing a lot of information. It's where people want to come, and at the end of the day, that's my main goal is to bring people into that community, into the Witch School community. And the best way I can do so is have them sign up to my site. So on your site, wherever it is, if you have a site, you want some way to register them. Either you can build a database, allow them to have content that is called behind a paywall, and a paywall is a wall or a login that you have to pay for. That's a really important aspect to what's happening now. Wall Street Journal is doing it. New York Times is doing it. More and more newspapers are doing it. So how part of the website is going to be financed? It can be either through a one-time payment or through a subscription or any number of other ways. There's a lot of parameters out there that you can use. But having said that, you need to capture them. Or you can do something as simple as start a Yahoo group, and they will give you a thing to say, sign up for our newsletter, and you can contact them, and then you can export those emails down from time to time so you have them. This is a way for you to own those ideas, because when you're on Twitter, all those followers on there aren't your followers in the sense of you don't know any more about them than Twitter's going to tell you. They really belong to Twitter, and they're using you amongst everybody else to do it. It's kind of like renting them. Facebook is the same. Google Plus groups is another way you can do it. You can Yahoo groups, but there's also Google Plus groups, and that kind of lets you kind of look at their names and bring them back down to your computer. Because at the end of the day, you really want to drive traffic, and you want to drive out your message, because loving your message is the most important thing. And what do you want to mean by message? For me, for the Witch School message is your anytime, anywhere magical education. Yeah, and that's simple as simple. So you understand anyone, anytime, anywhere magical education. You can understand that. That's my message. And everything I do is about supplying that demand out there and finding people who agree with me. That's a demand. So one of the ways I fulfill that demand, I do utilize Twitter. And on it, I basically tell everybody I'm on Twitter through my main site, witchschool.com. If you go to witchschool.com and go to the left side as you look at the screen, you'll see all the different social media sites we might belong to, and you can click on them and join us. And through that and through that Twitter site, I send out regular information. But I don't just send out regular information through Twitter. I'm not just using it as a bulletin board. That's a little bit, you can get people to join you, but they're going, okay, that's cool, that's cool. I do two other things. The thing that I do to rebuild myself is I retweet stuff. And I retweet stuff from people I find interesting. Now for me, that includes Llewellyn Books, at Llewellyn Books, at Alan Solomon, the Yoper, Dayooper, and I do a lot of his stuff because he does some great astrology. So I kind of moved that forward. I take it another step. Another thing I do is New Page Books. They have a lot of great information. Wiser Books, which are also Wiser, which is also in the system. I do theirs. I do a lot of Bout.com, Pagan Wiccan, particularly at Pagan Wiccan. I do a lot of retweeting of their stuff. And throughout the day, I follow about 530 people, even though I'm at over 6,000 followers. I follow about 500 and something people that is there. And there's two trains of thought on how, there's two real trains of thought on who do you follow on Twitter. Some people follow everybody. If you follow them, they follow you back. And this gives you a tremendous amount of information. And it makes you feel like you belong together. And for some people, this has really driven up their numbers. But for me, I go the other route, is that you should only follow the people that you really want the information from, or that you can handle. For me, following over 500 people is a lot of information. I mean, it's more information than I can follow in any given day. So I have a difficult time with it if I do too much more. And I constantly add one or two people a day that I find interesting. If I find it interesting, I do that. Though about 10 to 15 people join my Twitter account every day. The Twitter account I'm talking about is at Witchcool. So those are the two thoughts on that. But by doing so, and the third thing I do with Twitter, so the first thing I do is I send out regular information, trivia, announcements. I retweet people I find that are really cool. The third thing I do is I engage. When people write back to me, you can push the button called connections. And when they retweet me or they make a connection with me, I will at times answer them. And that's a really important part because you want to feel like you're engaged. This isn't just remember what I told you last week was that this is about having a conversation. The internet is about having a conversation across these many platforms. So in Twitter, I send back a message because that's the only way you can do it. And you can get some really nice conversations. And when you look at it, and when people see it, they can view the whole conversation. And if they like the conversation that they're eavesdropping on, as they're seeing, they can then follow people that are members of that conversation. So if you're engaging with somebody who has a substantial amount of new followers or a substantially different amount of followers from you, it's a great way to cross-pollinate between the two sections. And it's something I do every day. I have on my Twitter account at Witchcool, we have not just pagans and Wiccans, though we do have a substantial amount of those, but I also have social media guys. I have some of the biggest social media guys out there paying attention to what I say. I have all sorts of different things. Another good person to follow is at B-Trip. Because B-Trip, Brendan Tripp, is even more interesting things. And they provide you, he gives you a lot of great tips. And a lot of substantial ideas through this. So I think that's a really cool method to do so. Let's go on to Facebook. Again, Facebook, we send out I send out a steady amount of trivia because I have multiple pages for multiple projects. I send out a lot of information. I send it out to facebook.com, The Witch School. I have the World of Witches, which is the World of Witches Museum. I have a new one that I just started just because of this project called Ed the Pagan, which is under facebook.com/paganfriend, which I have only 26 friends on, or likes on, that I'm going to develop. I have other pages too, the Young Witches, the Daily Spell. So all of these pages I send out information to. besides my own personal profile. So we send out regular information, and the product we use is something called Hootsuite. Both for Twitter and Facebook. We use Hootsuite because you can program these in. If you have things you want to say on a regular basis, you can program them into Hootsuite, which is a really easy product to use. We use the premium, which costs us $5.99 a month, which gives us a substantially larger amount, and we send out information on a regular basis. The second thing is that in that case, unlike Twitter, which is kind of more one-on-one responses that everybody can see, in Facebook you get comments and likes. And so that is a really substantial part of it. So when you get your comments on these pieces, you should pay attention to them. And the third part that I said, having a conversation, is that what's nice about that is that you can answer these people back. If nothing else, like what they're saying, if you like what they're saying, and let them know that you're at least paying attention. The thing that you don't want to do is make them not feel like you're paying attention. It is really, really common just to send out information from a one-way point of view and then bring it back. So what all of this is about is called pull advertising, or a pull system. You're pulling people together to you by your content. Content is still king. So you pull them to your Facebook page, you pull them to your Twitter, and then you're sending the information out. And hopefully you're pulling them there. And the second thing you need to do then is to pull them to your web page. And you can do that in any number of ways. If you own a store, you can give them a discount. Or you can give them something free, like a free ebook. Free ebooks are really kind of cool. People do that all the time. We have a whole library on Witchcool that you can go check out. You've got all sorts of naturally cool things that you can do to bring them to your website. Show pictures of your website. Show pictures that have come from your website. Say, hey, go check this out. I've got this item on there. You need to draw them to your website and get them to register either as members or join your newsletters, because at the end of the day, that's what you're going to own, even if you change your platforms. So that is a substantial amount of it. From a pagan point of view, you need to constantly flow out information that is going to be relevant. There's a lot of information out there and a lot of books out there, a lot of information out there. If you can't imagine what else to send out, and again, another thing you can draw them to is your blog. You can build a blog on WordPress, you can build a blog on Blogger, there's any number of places, or you can even build your own website. But you want to bring them to you and share your information, and you do that by terrific content. What's terrific content? Content that you're passionate about. You need to be passionate about it. Okay, so let me go ahead and take a very simple thing. Say that your website is on, in the pagan world, let us say that your website is on herbs. A very common thing. Okay, but your take is different. So you have a page on herbs. Say you have a little encyclopedia of herbs on your page that you think is different than everybody else's. So you write them up and you're blogging about those herbs. So then you blog about how you use your herbs. Okay? Then you go to your Twitter account and your Facebook account and say, you give it something we call a factoid, or a small piece of information about that herb. And then you say, well, if you want to know more, check out my Facebook, check out my blog. You do this on Facebook, you can do this on Twitter. You can do this on Google+. So you're then bringing them back to your page so that they're reading your material. And if you're selling herbs, you can say, and if you want this herb, buy it here. So that's a whole structure of driving traffic. So you create content that describes your intent, that describes what you're doing. In this case, let us say that you say, catnip is good for cats is your blog. And you go on and give you good, solid 450 words about cats loving catnip. And you may even include a picture of your cat loving catnip. So then you go out and go to things that cats, you go to Twitter. You say, cats love catnip. And do you know why? If not, check out my blog. And you put a link in. And you go to your Facebook page. If you have a picture of your cat liking catnip, it says, this is my cat on catnip. Do you know why cats love catnip? Find out why on my blog. And you put that out there. And then somewhere in your blog, you're going to say, will your cat love catnip? I think they'll love mine. And then you can put a link to your store and offer to sell them your organic catnip. People don't want to be sold. They want to buy. They don't want you to push things onto them, but they want to feel like they're being pulled in, drawn in, and then offered a substantially good service. If you explained why catnip is good, you've been cheesing them with catnip, and then now you offer them catnip, they're going to feel more comfortable with you because now they know about it. And you can probably rerun that operation. Now, people ask me all the time, oh, well, should I just do it once? It goes, no. You can re-put that same message, especially for Twitter, out 2 or 3 times a day at different timelines. You know, you can put it out 6 o'clock one day, 5 o'clock another day, 6 a.m. in the morning, 5 p.m. Finding out where your audience is on, because so much information. Remember I told you some people follow a lot of people, some people follow a few. Well, the people who follow a lot only get a small portion of it. So I see people who retweet stuff all the time, and it's okay to retweet stuff on a regular basis to get them to pay attention. If you put that up once a week, as long as you have a substantial amount of people and you have enough information, it probably won't annoy people too much. They'll let you know how much is enough. On Facebook, on the other hand, you may want to put it up, but you don't necessarily want to put it up all the time. You may want to wait weeks, or maybe put it up like once a month, or something else. But in Facebook, what you do, the second thing you do, is to add, when people say, oh yeah, you find other people who might be interested, and you can look up Catnip Group and Catnip Anonymous. You know, how to keep your cat from the catnip, and you go, oh, and you can send them a letter saying, oh, you don't have to keep your cat anonymous. Or you go catnip lovers, and you can say, here's my blog on catnip. So on Facebook, you want to make that comment whenever you can. You want to put in new material. You want to take your material and rebuild it. And that's going to help you out in a substantial way. And so all of this pulls traffic. You see how it all pulls. You're going out to the outer fringes, you're giving them information, you're giving them quality information, and you're dragging them back in. And so this is what you do. We sell books from our witchschoolstore.com. And so one of the things we do is that we talk about the books. And if somebody does a review of the books, which people do on our site, we kind of then recommend that to Twitter account. So we recommend, say, a Llewellyn book, and we post it out there. If Llewellyn likes what it sees, it's going to Twitter people, and it has over 11,000 people to Twitter on their Twitter account. And they have over 60,000 people on their Facebook account. So if you do a review of the book and click the link to my store, we put a link to our store selling that book. Not only do people see it, but maybe Llewellyn will retweet it. And that could add a substantial amount of people. For me, when Llewellyn retweets something that we do, we get 8 to 10 people signing up to our Twitter account. When they post this on our Facebook, we get 8 to 10 people joining us on our Facebook page that it came from. And it makes us a substantial player in selling their books. Because remember, some of these brands just want to sell more of their product. They care about their product, but they still are in the business of selling more product. And so that's kind of a neat thing. Especially if you really like something that's unusual about a book. So people talk about it all the time. We just put up a thing, Cunningham's book of oils and incense. And somebody wrote back, says, I've got this book and I just love it. And we retweeted that. And they got a few more people. And at the same time it says, I'm so glad you like it. Would you recommend it? And we tweeted out to him and said, would you recommend it to other people? And he goes, absolutely, we recommend it to other people. And our link was attached to each one of them. So people said, oh, I really need this book. They came back to our store, looked at our store, and we sold a copy of Cunningham's book of it, complete book of incense and oils. All this is about pull. All this is about conversation. And what conversation does is it begins building trust in people, in you, and shows you what you believe in. And when you find people who believe in the same thing as you, it's really important that they support you. They want to support you. They're encouraged to support you. They feel like they've done a good thing if they support you. And so you don't have to worry about, oh, well, I can't do that. There's Amazon. Amazon's a great site, but you can still compete on them because at the end of the day, The reason why Amazon gets so much traffic is because it's highly trusted and it's highly fast. If you can match them for shipping, which you can with a little work, if you have people who are willing to support you, they're willing to forgive you for not being Amazon, but only if you give them a substantial reason to do so. In our case, we sell our books all 25% off. And we keep that up, and we're trying to build a little bit of a superstore so you can become one-stop shop. And we ship quickly, and we ship well, and we give little bonuses from time to time. We also show that if you buy from us, you're going to get this substantial amount of content, such as this class, that or other videos we do, Pagans Tonight Radio, which we do. We have all these things that we attach to our platform. So if you know that you're buying from us to help support the platform, all our Twitter pieces, all our Facebook pieces, all our things that we're doing, you're going to do something that's very important. Because nothing pulls better than to know that you're doing a good job, that you're trying to do the best job you can. It's cause-based. I mean, we're going to do some great things. And people will spend their money with you when it's in their best interest. Remember, it's got to be in their best interest. And their best interest is to get information that they like, entertainment they like, content they like. And so they keep doing that, and then they'll come back to your website, your blog, your stores, and they will do so. And the Twitter account and the Facebook account, the Google Plus accounts, all give them reasons to stay in contact with you. It makes it easier to be in contact with you and to remind them what it is and to make your cause of why you should be paid attention to. And when you do all this together, then these all acts as an ecosystem to draw everybody to you through this pull strategy. This is the first step of building a better traffic. Better content, connecting your content, and letting people know your content is out there. If you can pull that, if you can do all of that together, you will increase your traffic substantially. So if you like what you hear and hear what you like, come and check out witchschool.com and our other sites, join our various pages, and help us continue to build a social media. And remember, social media isn't just for everyone. It's also for us pagans too. And by doing so, you can find a lot of people who think like you do and build your business. So with that, I will say goodbye until next week or until next class. Blessed be.